Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Unity in Ashland. I'm the minister, Norma Burton, and I'm so glad to see you all here on this foggy morning. You are the sunshine on this foggy morning. Oh, he's not who we think he is. He's an astronaut. It's very wonderful to have astronauts in our presence today, too. Because you go to the stars and back. I'm sure you will lead us there. Yes, he does. He leads Fancy there every week, she says. We're so blessed to have a wonderful children's program, so I hope that you will spread the word, because I think the families out there don't really know that we have such a great children's program going on. And we're getting ready to do an announcement in the community launch for it, but it always helps for you to talk to people that you know and tell them that we're having training the kids in Buddhist meditation, doing special rituals around the seasons, teaching them how to be centered in themselves when they feel different things. It's a wonderful program. Some other announcements are that today we have some sign-up sheets in the back on that back table. We'd love you to sign up for this membership gathering, this gathering of our community together to just share and talk together on November 22nd. It's going to be at the Peace House from 9 to 12.
Norma, we just want to know approximately how many are coming.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we want you to sign up.
And then on November 23rd, I'd like you to mark your calendars for the afternoon, because I'm going to have a big celebration that you're all invited to up at the Circle of Terran, former property, to celebrate that it's becoming the Journey to Completion Healing Center. And it's my birthday that day, so great birthday present. And to have you all there will be the frosting and the cake. Then we also want you to sign up in the back for, if you're interested in chaplains training. We have a lay chaplains prayer team that does wonderful things, visits with people who are sick, people who have needs in our community, and pray with people after the service, and pray for the prayer requests at the Monday afternoon, 5 o'clock prayer ceremony. So please sign up if you'd like to be in the prayer chaplains training. We could use some more prayer chaplains. Okay, any other announcements? Yes?
I just in terms of the prayer chaplain training, it was the best thing that ever happened in my life. Totally unexpected that I would go to these places. You're in service to the community, but you get so much. You get so much back. Please come see me afterwards if you have any questions. And please come to the Monday group. It's 5 o'clock in the back of the Havara, and we do some magical things there. It's amazing.
Thank you, Donna. That's a great testimony for it. And we are trying to do just our unity announcements up front in service of time. And anybody who has community announcements of things happening in the community, things that you're leading, go to that back table in our community hour and share it with people at the back table. We're experimenting with that. Okay, Kathy.
We are looking for a new treasurer. Marta is going to be leaving as of January 1. So if you're interested in numbers, that kind of thing, bookkeeping, it's a very, very important role in our church, and we really need a new treasurer. So please talk to Norma or to me.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay. Last thing right before the song is that I just want to welcome everybody who's here for the first time, and just raise your hand for a minute. I know because I got introduced to you and a couple back there and over there. So we just like people to see you so that they can talk with you afterwards, and you can share and have a good time in our social hour afterwards. Thank you. And now, one of my favorite songs to kick off our day and get ready to rock and roll with it, okay?
Are you ready to rock? So we're going to kind of build up this song. If you feel like standing and moving your body, please feel free to do that. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace, I feel our unity, love, sweet security.
sit down, offer a handshake of blessing and greeting to one another. Thanks for being here. Now we're going to bless the children. We recognize the face of God in every one of us, but somehow when we look into the face of children, like I just looked into Ellie's face over here and Nova's face, we really see the face of God. And so let's sing our song to our children, and whoever of the kids want to come up and have the song sung to them. You can, you don't have to if you don't want to, but we love to see your faces. Yeah, the mom can come with you. And Heather and Francie and Patrice will lead us in the face of God.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Have fun. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. The face of God. Face of God.
Our theme today is our hunger to belong. Our hunger to belong. And I've asked Karen to come and read a beautiful poem called Belonging that Heather just opened up to in the Wee Moon calendar. And I'm going to light the candles while you read the poem, Belonging.
It's also a perfect poem for the fall. Our bodies belong to earth, our minds to sky. Nothing really belongs to us. Everything just is and teaches. We borrow and will give it all back. One day soon, my mind will fly back to the sky. The birds will sing it. My body will bleed back into the earth. The ground will drink my reds and browns. Imagine the relief, not trying to hold the colors together. Start now. It will be easier. Recollect the memory shards from when we were shattered into existence, when we came into curled, wet leaves, howling body bunches touching down.
And by way of creating our sacred space together, let's go into a meditative place right now. Settling in, getting comfortable as you hear the sounds of the music and my words. You can feel yourself moving into your deepest knowing. Take some deep breaths and feel your body settling in to peace. And close your eyes if you'd like, but staying alert, noticing how these sounds and words carry you down into the very bedrock of your being, of being itself. However you experience this, here in the silence deep inside, you experience your connectedness to all that is. You are made of the same stuff of all that is. Every molecule that composes you moves in concert with the solar system itself. Feel yourself as part of all that is. Focus on the miracle of the natural world. Bring to your mind's eye the great landscapes, the infinite variety of flowers, of animals, of trees, the worlds under the sea, the microscopic worlds we can't even see. Just appreciating the beauty of the natural world. Stretch your spacious awareness to ponder nature. Witness the awesomeness of life's expression. It's in the state of perpetual becoming. Life is resilient. It recreates itself. It's as though an underlying intelligence maintains balance and invites all beings to express their life and leave behind a new generation to do the same. As awesome as the variety of life forms and places is, the relatedness of all that lives in any particular place. You know, it's a web of interdependent relationships in every habitat. The mycelial web all over this planet. So move your awareness now from focusing on particular beings to what's taking place between beings. This web that's being spun and the exchange between life forms. This relatedness forming patterns of energy exchange, weaving the web of life, sharing of the elements, energy moving. We breathe out, the plants breathe in. Complex patterns of energy exchange, intricate patterns of mutuality. The web is spun in these exchanges. Imagine this movement of energy, this luminous web that supports all of us, all life. The web is strong. You are of it. You cannot fall through it. You belong. You comprise part of the fabric of the web of life. This is true by the very fact that you exist. This is true for each of us and all of us. You are of it. The web of life supports you. Rest in this knowledge that you are of it, that you belong in it. Let yourself inhabit your larger identity. Relax into the web. Life lives in community. Trust it. And now bringing your awareness back into our space together here. We belong here, just like we belong in the greater web of existence. We have forged a sense of belonging here. And yet, we have it naturally too. And yet we struggle with this whole notion of belonging on planet Earth. It's a big challenge to us, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, both the truth of it and the challenge of it. And I've asked Dan to come and read a poem that's about elephants. And it's called God Went to India. Let's raise it up.
Thanks. Norma said, would you read this poem? I would like a man's voice. And I said, I'm not sure. And so she started to walk away, and I thought, why should do it? So I finally said, yeah, because it's time to step up to the mic. And we'll step up to the mic. So a poem by Cynthia Rylant. God went to India to see the elephants. God adores elephants. He thinks they're the best thing he ever made. They do everything he hoped for. They love their children. They don't kill. They mourn their dead. The last thing is especially important to God. Elephants visit the graves of those they loved. They spend hours there. They fondle the dry bones. They mourn. God understands mourning. Better than any other emotion. Better even than love. Because he has lost everything he has made. You make life, you make death. The things God makes always turn into something else. He does call this all good, but he can't help missing all the originals.
That was beautiful, man. Thank you. Really touching. Do you love elephants the way I love elephants? I'm crazy about them. When I was in Maine this summer, I walked into a little shop and it was all about elephants. And I came to find out that it's because it was a fundraiser shop for a place called Hope Farm in Maine that's a place for rescuing elephants. You can go and see the elephants and touch them and be with them. Elephants are not only naturally social creatures, they actually form complex multi-generational societies in which tradition is passed on from one generation to the next. The matriarch elephants coach the adolescent girls into becoming elephant women. And the mature males bring the adolescent boys off on retreats of sorts, after which they return as adults to take their place as leaders in their society. Fascinating. It's true that elephants bury their dead. They grieve too. In fact, they have complex grieving rituals. Like the poem said, they return at set times each year, year after year, to the grave sites of their beloved dead, and they lovingly run their trunks over the dead bones, just as they do to show affection to their living loved ones. Remarkably, elephants treat human dead bodies the same way too. They scoop up the body, and they take it to a special place and cover it over with soil and leaves, and they stand in vigil over it for hours, leaving only when their mourning ritual is over. There was an incredible article in the New York Times a few years ago called "Elephants Are Cracking Up." It chronicled the demise of elephant society due to horrible killing by the poachers and their loss of habitat. I quote from the article, "Today's elephants are suffering from a form of chronic stress, a kind of species-wide trauma, from centuries of hunting and killing them for their ivory and from increasing destruction of their safe places to live. Their intricate web of familial and societal relations in which young elephants have traditionally been raised and by which established elephant herds were governed is vanishing. We're literally witnessing the collapse of elephant culture." In other words, when baby elephants don't know who they belong to, They don't know how to be in the world. Without a common culture of belonging, there's no context in which to grow into our truest selves. The result of trauma, of disconnection, and of not belonging, I'm sad to say, is that while 2 generations ago elephants and humans shared a social bond, in recent times there have been escalating incidents of elephant to human violence, forcing whole villages of humans to relocate. When their natural communal lifestyle is destroyed, like people who have no culturally enshrined boundaries of behavior, no society to teach them to become what they're meant to be, elephants crack up. Recently at the Bioneers, I heard a Native American elder speaking at a gathering of several thousand people about the loss of Native culture and traditional training and rituals and what it's done to their people. He said, "We have forgotten who we are and whose we are. When we forget whose we are and who we belong to, we lose our very selves. Without a context of community with which to identify, we don't know who we are anymore. When community is destroyed, so is our sense of belonging to something greater than ourselves." Really, all humans have been affected by the same loss that the elephants and the indigenous peoples have. For at least 5,000 to 6,000 years, we've been struggling with heavy-duty oppressive forces here on the planet that have really disturbed the great harmony. Some call it the fall from grace. There's been an onslaught of abuse and misuse of trust. And so the institutions of our society often don't feel welcoming or like trusting places. Doris Lessing, in a novel called Shikasta, one of my favorite books, I highly recommend it. It's a novel that unfolds the story of how the earth used to be a planet of great harmony, and it used to be called Rotunda. In the times before the great forgetting, she says, on planet Earth, she describes the delicate interbeingness of all sounds and colors and shapes so that humans created structures with sound and moved great boulders with sound and created things around different geometrical forms, and the whole planet hummed in this harmony of joy, and it was in connection with the whole galaxy and the universe, all in this harmony of the spheres. But this all ended during this shift when we entered the great forgetting, she says, the forgetting of who we are, and the planet became called Shikasta, place of great brokenness. So John O'Donohue from Ireland wrote that humans on this planet, we have a hunger to belong. It's a hunger that echoes and reverberates, and it reminds us of the invisible and eternal heritage of our souls. You feel that echo inside of you sometimes, that echo of that former harmony of the spheres, that longing for that feeling of being so at home on planet Earth? Well, we are the ones we've been waiting for, as we say. We are from somewhere else, and yet we're from here. We're from somewhere where we are totally known and embraced and sheltered. This is the secret root from which all longing grows. Something in us knows, perhaps remembers, that we have an eternal belongingness in this universe that liberates this longing into its surest and most potent creativity. Echoes of eternal belonging. When we get together in groups like this for spiritual purposes, we start to hear those echoes, and it's true that our most potent creativity starts to get ignited, and we start to trust who we are, and that we're here for a purpose, and that we must express ourselves and our creativity. And we start to trust one another again, and we start to trust that we can even begin to think that the universe is a friendly place, where there is a source of all abundance that's on our side. That's why we come together in these spiritual, sacred containers, so that we can remember who we really are, our eternal belonging. What I'd like us to do now, in honor of the sense of caring that we have in our midst, I'd like us to come forward, a few of you, one at a time, and light a candle from the larger candles and place it in here. It will stand up in here if you press it down, like a sea of blue marbles. And we're expressing our joys and our concerns, in other words, our prayer requests or our gratitudes, just in a sentence or two, just briefly, but to share it with one another. And so I want to begin and express a great gratitude for our circles of 8. I've been visiting each one of them, and I visited one this week, and it was very timely for me because it was on the day that I just learned that my sister has breast cancer. So my heart is very burdened about that, and the Circle of 8 prayer group really held me in such tenderness, and we had an amazing experience of prayer together where I really felt my oneness with my sister in this eternal sense. So thankful for that moment. Thank you for your prayers for my sister. Carol, her name is. Welcome to come forward.
I am grateful to be here with you all and to be reminded that there is this belonging. And I also ask for a prayer to help me figure out where I belong in Ashland as I'm new here. So I'm trying to see how I fit in.
Mm-hmm. Let's all say like aho or something after amen. Aho. Or we hear you or something like that.
I'm feeling really grateful for the reading of that poem and who Norma chose to read that poem, which was so beautiful. And it opened my heart and I'm sure it opened a lot of hearts this morning. And so I'm grateful that you had the courage to come up here and say yes.
Oh, that was close, but you made it.
I give thanks for Unity in Ashland and everything that it represents, and all of you. And I really want to thank the Prayer Circle. I had breast cancer 2 years ago, and I was really scared, really scared. And they called me up every night for 2 weeks to pray with me.
Aho.
You're fine.
Words are just a little, well, sure, the elephants, I was in Bali and playing music and the elephant was dancing. The music was very sensitive and tuned in, it's really beautiful. But just dealing with, like last night I was thinking just like to allow ourselves, don't be afraid to ask for what we truly desire. I feel this great fear in that, of like really going for what it is we truly desire and just trusting, asking, opening up to that, moving in that direction. And within that, around that idea of the fear, I just feel for my daughter, like I feel like she's so spiritual, but it's like that belonging thing. How does it all come together? So just pray for, this great transformation that's in motion, just the infinity of life. We receive that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful love into our every cell and share it.
get to witness miracles in that back room every week. And I am also superlatively grateful for Richard Williams and all the musicians that show up here. For Richard, I tell him ballad and C, and he's right there for me. So I thank you so much for that opportunity whenever it arises.
So, I'm also very grateful for the prayer group and the growth that I've got to experience by being a part of it, and more and more and more and more in my life understanding the power of prayer. And in a broader sense, I was feeling my gratitude for Ashland and all the spiritual centers of belonging that I've been a part of and I'm still a part of. And Unity is one of those, and such an important one. And I also am grateful for my family, which I used to have some family here, and now I don't have any family here. And then I thought, yes, I do have family. So.
I am grateful for being alive and being here this morning. 4 days ago, in the early morning hours, I was going to work, and I narrowly missed being in an accident that would have taken my life. And it made me think, because I believe that we all have windows of opportunity to leave incarnation at different times during our existence. And I was on the side of the road going, so I chose not to. And I immediately thanked my guides and thanked God. And then I thought, so this is like a new birth. This is a new beginning. And it's just like, who am I and where do I belong and how do I want to live this life from this moment forward? Because it is a blessing. Being in incarnation is a blessing. And when I was walking from near the co-op to Unity this morning, I was looking at the fog, and I was looking at the valley, and I was looking at Ashland, and I was going, I am so blessed to live here. I am so blessed to be a part of Unity. I am so blessed to be a part of this incarnation.
Lakota and the prayers for the pipe ceremony. Prayer as always, may I be the outlet for the unconditional love of the Creator to flow through me for the good of the people. I'm very present to belonging, or the lack of, healing between men and men, women and women, particularly between men and women. And so that's my prayer today, the sacred food between all people, between Mary and I, between all people.
Poem you read about the elephants really touched me. And for the first time in my life, I'm feeling the opposite of what the elephants are going through. Instead of feeling a crack, I'm feeling it coming together. And I'm just really grateful for the community here and my friends. And my prayer is just that continues.
We're listening to the eternal echoes, our longings for belonging. And John O'Donohue said that when we come into spiritual community, we need to take up the practice of encouragement of one another He puts it this way: there are people whose presence is encouraging. One of the most beautiful gifts in the world is the gift of encouragement. When someone encourages you, that person helps you over a threshold you might otherwise never have crossed on your own. When someone encourages you, they help you over a threshold that you might never have crossed on your own. Let's sing a beautiful song now and just continue to feel how we are a community of encouragers of one another, stepping over those thresholds, celebrated in this song.
So this is a beautiful song reminding us of how we belong, and all the support from Creator. It's the 23rd song, and the music is by Bobby McFerrin. The Lord is my shepherd, I have all I need. She makes me lie down in green meadows beside the still water. She will lead. She restores my soul. She rights my wrongs. She leads me in the path of good things and fills my heart with songs. Even though I walk through a dark and dreary land, there is nothing that can shake me. He has said He won't forsake me. I'm in His hand. He sets a table before me in the presence of my foes. He anoints my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness will follow me all the days of my life. And I will live in her house forever, forever and ever. Glory be to our mother and daughter and to the Holy of Holies, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
You pray with me. Our Creator. You don't have to say it with me. I'm just praying. Just pray silently and pray with me in your hearts. But you were willing. Thank you. You're so good to me. Yes, our Creator, the one who loves us, the one who feels things deeply with us, the one who does echo like the sound of a whale in our souls, calling us out of all of our dark places of distrust and all of our wounded places where we've been hurt, and all of the places where we forget our connection with you, with one another. You echo in there, calling us, and we hear you, and we come, and we thank you. Our hearts are full of gratitude and full of praise. As it says in the scriptures, we come into your courts with thanksgiving and into your house with praise, knowing that we truly are not alone. We feel this comfort as we come here together and have the privilege of feeling your presence amplified because of the presence of one another. It's almost tangible. We thank you. We imbibe, we drink in this comforting, loving presence that is the real truth of the universe. And now in our hearts we hold all of these prayers that were stated and deliver them to you, Spirit. And all those prayers that weren't stated out loud, that are in each person's heart here. I know we each have prayers. We each have joys that we're celebrating and concerns that are deep in our hearts. And right now, in this moment, Spirit, we bring them into the courts of your abundance. We bring them into the halls of worship where your divine order reigns. Your divine order that has set the harmony of the spheres in motion. Surely we can trust you. Loving us, counting every hair on our heads, measuring our days from beginning, before we were born, before we were even in the womb. It said you knew us and brought us forth. And you know when we rise and when we sit down, you know when we come into the body and when we leave the body, and all, we trust that all is in your divine order. And in this moment we ask for healing. We ask for great healing to flow in our midst because we know that is your will, that we would be healed on every level of our souls, our bodies, our minds. So we drink in this eternal presence that is a presence of healing and wholeness, and feel it in the very cells of our being as we feel the oneness in this web of life energy. Drinking it in, thanking you, Spirit, for creating us, bringing us here for the purpose of our unique individual life. Thank you for bringing us here. Thank you for answered prayers. Thank you for the sacredness of this moment. Aho.
Wow. I think a lot of you know this song. I haven't sung it here for a while, but it's, how could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. So maybe you want to visualize somebody that you're singing this to, or maybe the most important thing is to sing it to yourself. You know, the parts of you that don't feel like you're enough, or that need a little bit more support. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Sing it again. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected. How deeply you're
just take a moment and look around the room and just appreciate how deeply we are connected to one another's souls. And you might not even know one another's names. If you don't know the name of someone as you look around the room, I encourage you afterwards to go up to that person later and say, "Hi, what's your name?" and get even a little bit more connected and talk with one another. Just look around and connect and appreciate that we belong. We've got a great sense of safety that we've created here, and of joy and love. Belonging is such a basic human thing. It's really as basic as breathing, our need to belong. Belonging is as beautiful as a sunrise coming up over the mountains saying, "You belong here. You belong to this place and this time. You belong in beauty." Belonging is not without its challenges, right? There's a lot of danger in putting ourselves out there and making mistakes and miscalculations. I make them all the time, every day, right? And so our needs to belong, both as children, as teenagers, and as adults, often don't meet with our best expectations, you know? I've had a lot of failed attempts at belonging, have you? But in this moment, I'd like you to think for just a minute about a moment when you really did feel a sense of belonging. When you accomplished it, when you did feel that sense of belonging, whether it was one other person, maybe it was in nature, maybe it was with a group of people. Where was it? Try to remember right now when you felt like you did belong somewhere in some moment. And how did it feel to you? And just shout out a few of those words, just like one word describing how that felt to you, when you felt like you did belong. Exquisite. Safe, comfortable, needed, complete, terrific, relaxed, loving, cozy, fluid, human. That's great. Those are all really great things to feel, aren't they? You know, people have been longing to feel the belonging for thousands of years. I don't know, because I don't actually remember being back there before 6,000 years ago, but in a way, sometimes I think I do. Don't you? But at least 3,000 years ago, in the book of Isaiah, the Hebrew Scriptures, Isaiah was saying to the people, "You are longing for a place to belong, and God will establish amongst us a house of prayer for all peoples, where all people can feel welcome." I think that's what we've been longing for too, and we've been working to establish here as a house of prayer where all peoples can feel welcome. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge. And here's a story about a woman who was a minister, and yet she was sensitive about being controlled. And I think a lot of times when we enter into wanting to belong somewhere, that comes up for us. You know, we've got a fear about being controlled, about losing ourselves in some way too. So here's her little story about a fear that came up for her. One day a few years ago, I got a phone call from my cousin Monica. I hadn't seen Monica for over 30 years, but I liked her. And now she had sought me out and found me, probably on Facebook. I remembered her as a short, bouncy girl with lots of energy. I remembered her mother too, my Aunt Lee. She was an attractive woman, but I remember that she treated Marcia kind of disrespectfully, like the runt in the family, and I remember that it really hurt Marcia. So when she grew up, she broke away from her family and she became a vegetarian. She worked as a cook for people in need, and she volunteered in Bosnia to help the refugee children. She lived in a commune. For several years, she was a loyal friend to a man who was dying of cancer. So I knew that Marcia was a good person. In fact, she was my favorite cousin. But as we caught up with each other in our lives, I sensed that she might be calling me for some kind of evangelical purpose. And then she said, "Michelle, I think this phone call is going to change your life." And in that moment, my blood turned to ice. What? Change my life? Not if I can help it, I said to my husband the minute I hung up. And this minister went on to reflect on this instance. She said, you understand, I didn't want my life to change. I didn't want her to think that she had to do something to change my life or that there was anything that I should change. Where I was okay. The most freedom and contentment I had found yet, in fact. The idea of change suggested that things might even get worse. So even though I loved my cousin Marcia, I backed off. I didn't know what plans she had for me, but I didn't want them. Now that's a bit of how some of you might feel when invited to become involved in a church. But here in our Unity community, we hesitate to even call it a church because we don't want that baggage of former control to come upon you. When we hear that some people believe that being part of a church is going to transform us in some way, we get a little nervous, people like us. Like most folks, we want to decide for ourselves if, how, and when we get transformed. And if we can't, then our defenses go up and we pull back a little bit. So my talk today is about how do we go about building community and this sense of belonging, and about how challenging it can be for some of us to move forward when invited in rather than pull back. So many of us who find our way into Unity gatherings have gotten freed up from more controlling and disrespectful relationships and institutions and religious teachings. Or on the other hand, we didn't maybe grow up with any organized religion at all, and then we have had a lot of freedom to wander all over and look at this and that, and we don't want any dogma laid on us. And then maybe others of us have found a lot of communion in solitude and in nature, and we trust those wide open spaces more than we do the confinement of sitting in buildings and being with humans. So for all these reasons, we get kind of shy around any kind of institutions. We know that when we enter relationships, that there is always a possibility that there might be some domination and submission. And we don't feel safe. Humans, animals, nobody feels safe in that setup. But we've lived with it for a long time. So we get reticent to enter in too deeply. Unity has been called part of the free church movement, or the New Thought movement. There's, in other words, a whole movement of people who are wanting what's called low church polity. You know what that means? That very little control from the top. Polity is organization, governance. So Unity is one of those low church polity churches. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here. I like that. So consequently, here we deal with this flip side of the issue of control and oppression that's there in a lot of other churches. We deal with our people being very hesitant to commit to being called a member of anything, smacking of having rules or regulations of membership at all. I remember well back in 2006 when here at Unity we were trying to create new bylaws, and the people involved at that time were very hesitant to use the word member. So we wrote our bylaws and crossed out everywhere where it said member, and we wrote affiliate. Affiliate. It seemed much, lighter. And no rules, no obligations. We had, like, if you want to affiliate, you just come. Many of us have been over-evangelized, right? And have a real phobia about being pigeonholed into commitments that aren't right for us. In fact, I was standing by a person a while back at a public gathering, and he was asked if he was a member of any church, and he said no. And I looked at him and I was thinking, he's gone to Unity for about 10 years. And yet he didn't proclaim that he was a member. Very interesting. And let me just be clear about this talk from the start, that there are many ways to build community and thereby create a sense of belonging, and we don't have to use the word member. I feel that our community can grow in the ways that suit us the best, in many different ways, and that each of us will move forward or not at our own speed and in our own way. Some of us like to build community through activity, like preparing food to share, or washing dishes, or setting up and taking down our service here. Others like to build community by sharing stories and listening. Others by joining in the work of common projects and committees. At the heart of all of this, we are building a feeling of respect for one another in the ways that we feel comfortable doing that. A kind and accepting view of whoever has decided to be here with us, and whenever they do. So in this coming into community, there's always the question of being a stranger at first, and of welcoming the ones who are new and not yet a part of the already known group. It's a boundary issue, like when we do let others into our own private space, it's kind of a big threshold. When do we tell them our deepest concerns? We all have a psychological as well as a physical skin, and we like to protect ourselves, so that's really natural. John O'Donohue again said, we all enter into the world as strangers. There is always danger in being a stranger. Because we sense this, it usually takes a while before we open up to let the stranger in to our circles. Strangers circle each other for a good while before familiarity begins to build up. Each one of us enters into the world as a total stranger. No one had ever seen you before when you got here. So you came without a name, and yet you entered fully into the belongingness of your life, says John O'Donohue. So we had to do it in the very beginning of our incarnation. We had to jump right in and come up to the mic and say, I'm here. And in our vulnerable little human body, we had to enter fully into belonging to whatever family we came into, whatever situation we had in school or in our community. We had to bravely enter in and try to find out who we were in that community. Now life has gone down the track, and we have found out that from the start, there are always issues of if we're going to feel safe and if we're going to be accepted. But we have found ways of testing that out, and I think a lot of you are here because you sense that there is some container of safety here, that there is some acceptance, some real unconditional acceptance of who you are. And as you get to know one another, I'm sure that we do bump up against each other at times, but we've got a commitment here to learn nonviolent communication and to do our shadow work. And so we're in a community where we really are committed to being encouraging and kind to one another. Back when I led outdoor leadership seminars for groups, sometimes they were teenagers who had been incarcerated, sometimes they were corporate managers, I always started out by talking about how do we create safety here. We were going to be asking them to go up on the high ropes courses, pretty scary risk-taking. And so before a person ever got up there, we'd gather around them in a circle and have them put on all the harnesses and then the ropes that come off those harnesses, and everybody was still on the ground, and people would each one would pick up the end of one of those ropes, and then I'd have the person who was going to get ready to take the big step to climb on the high ropes course look around at everybody and say, are you here for me? And then the people would say, we're on belay, and that meant we've got your rope. So I think that we are creating a community here of people that are on belay for each other, don't you?
Yes.
Like you've heard about the prayer group, and we're trying, we're really trying to be really there for each other in a deep way. So here at Unity, I keep talking about how we are here to build what I call a working friendship with one another. A working friendship. When I started coming to this church 11 years ago, I loved it because I sat in the chairs next to strangers and I sang the songs and I listened to the sermon, as some of you are doing for the first time today, and I put some money in the offering, as I hope you do. And I noticed that I felt a sense of acceptance and not pressuredness, right in the beginning, just in the atmosphere. And I can't tell you how much I appreciated that people were just letting me be. And they didn't afterwards pigeonhole me by asking me questions about what I believed or what I didn't believe. And I felt like I'd found community that could really welcome me without setting an agenda on me, and that felt good. And people came up and talked to me week after week and started to get to know me, and I'm so thankful for some of you that were there. Jennifer, you were one of them that was there at the very beginning, and she drew me in. You drew me in, Roy, some others that were there, and you know what? I obviously got more involved. And I hope you do too. I'm trying to tease out the tension here between being yourself and being a part of community, and at times how that can be confusing. The self, the other. We know that we're supposed to grow up and become these separate, discrete, mature persons, that we have to individuate and become ourselves and not be codependent. And we as Americans, we have this huge independence urge. I guess our ancestors, fleeing from so much oppression, came to the Americas to set up these supposed institutes of personal freedom, and yet how could fleeing from oppression in one place just lead to inflicting so much oppression on the people in the new place? It doesn't seem like much of a stride of growth was made in this intense, self-absorbed plunge toward freedom at the expense of others. Many of the churches in the New World became pretty quickly tainted by the hierarchical horrors of the Old World they were fleeing. So we've been through a lot about coming together in spiritual community. In the 70s and 80s, I was thankful that I lived in the time when the women's movement came along and the humanistic psychology movement, and they rose up to remind everybody that we become ourselves only through relationships with others. That it really doesn't work to have this total independence that takes us into a disconnection from ourselves and from the environment and from other humans. You can't really think of being somebody without being involved with others. So the question even now is, how do we relate to other people in close-up communal settings like this? Do we relate operationally just to get things done? You know, like to be on a committee, to pay the bills, to set the table, to get the job done? Or do we relate on a more personal and vulnerable level? And that's a question I'm putting out to us in a moment-by-moment kind of way. How do you relate in this moment? How do you relate in that moment? Because this is at the heart of the distinction that the philosopher Martin Buber made. And in my college days, I did my final paper on Martin Buber in his book called I and Thou. He says that lots of times we do establish I-it relationships without even realizing it. Like we don't really come in the presence of another being and realize I'm with a thou like thou universe, thou God, you know, here's a thou in front of me. But we, he says, can only become our true selves as we have some I-thou relationships. Through thou, a person becomes an I. Buber says people can only truly say thou to one another. No, we can only truly say we after we've said thou. That's what he says. I like that, don't you? So, Buber's not saying that we should make everything like therapy. And sometimes in Unity, people have complained about that a little bit, like we might have too much interaction in the church service. So, no, we don't have to spill our guts in the church service when somebody asks. It's really more of a ritual space. But the quotes from our readings today affirm that our lives are inextricably linked together, like the elephants. There's no way that we cannot be in relationship. So when it comes down to it then, we've got to keep asking ourselves, how can I relate more as a I-thou in my interactions with people in my daily life, but especially here in this sacred container? Deep down, I think we all feel two different things towards other people. The first is a yearning to be closer, and how wonderful that feels, like when you mentioned to me those feelings that you had when you really did belong. And then the second thing is, we feel like when we do get closer sometimes, it scares us. And then we get this yearning to be apart, to be safe all by ourselves. You know that pattern, right? Go in, come out, go in, come out. So we get these two things going on when we try to enter into spiritual community too. Of course, there's always a healthy middle ground, and that is to develop through time a good sense of ourselves, but still be able to form healthy relationships with others. This is the secret, don't you know? The when, how, and how much to do it all is the secret to the art of living. And that's what we're trying to learn here, because if you don't give yourself opportunities to bump up with each other and feel the rough edges, how do you learn that art of living? Most of us feel a deep desire for community. Alone, we feel lonely and powerless. With a group of like-minded others, we can find a sense of acceptance and validation. It's probably one reason why you're here, but it is scary. I think in the last period of time, we have felt ourselves over maybe the last few years moving closer and closer as a group. And there's also been moments when we have felt disillusioned. Maybe you individually with certain people have, or sometimes there's moments of feeling disillusioned with what are we doing as our whole group. So we just want to accept that too as this natural flow of humans trying to get closer to one another. I just want us to accept that about our spiritual community too. So what about our church? It may be helpful to remember two aspects of our community that are maybe uniquely what we're looking for and what we have here. And that is that we have established the values that we accept everybody in all of our diversity. That's big. Not every church does that. And two, that we are an intentional community. In other words, we really have a shared purpose, which is a spiritual purpose that has the intent that we want to help others feel this kind of acceptance, like it said in that song, how can anybody ever tell you you're anything less than beautiful? So we're not just any club or any organization. We have that purpose for being here. So what do we do? Well, that's why I'm calling for this meeting on November 22nd, because every once in a while, other than just sitting here and doing the things that we like to do on Sunday morning that do feed and nurture us, we need to come together and talk with one another about what do you want to do? What do you want to do next? How do you feel about this community right now? What would you like more of? What would you like less of? So I hope that you will join us and be thinking about that between now and Saturday 9 a.m. at Peace House. Think about what you desire. When you think about belonging, what would make you feel a greater sense of belonging? What would make you feel more comfortable? What would you like? Don't we each desire to belong so that our best selves can truly flourish and that we can find deep friendships? It is our basic human needs. So I invite you to take a leap, as if, like Cara was saying when she was talking about that car accident, as if we're marking a new beginning. We don't have to have those kind of big things happen. So we don't want anything to happen to invoke us in community to take a bigger leap. We want to just do it because we choose to, because we have choices of entering in more deeply. So I think I will not call it a membership meeting. I would just like to affiliate with you on Saturday. And have you express together your deepest desires to belong. Thank you.
Longing to belong for, longing to belong, longing to belong for, longing to belong, longing to belong for, longing to belong, longing to belong.
So as we sing this next song, I'd like the people taking the offering to take the offering while we sing the song. Thank you for your generous gifts to this source of your spiritual nourishment. We really appreciate tie-in.
Longing to belong, for longing to
You've got the paper that has the words on it.
longing to belong, for longing to belong, longing to belong, for longing to belong, longing to belong, for
Not
to belong, longing to. Just join me with this. Longing to belong, longing to belong, for longing to belong, longing to belong, for longing to belong, longing to belong, for longing to belong, longing to belong, for. I just had to throw that in because actually that's not the one we were going to do. But Lawrence Cole wrote the one that you do have the words to called Let Us See the Beauty. He actually wrote that last one too. And I, as Norma was speaking, I thought, oh, we could have done that one too. So thank you for joining us. It was perfect. So this is also great, I think, for what we're talking about. It's based on Orion Mountain Dreamers' poem, The Invitation. And it's a sing-along. It's a two-part. And for me, the people that I feel really good letting in, my Anamkaras, are the ones that could really see my beauty, no matter, even when I'm feeling my lowest. So can we see this beauty in each other, no matter what's going on? And I wonder if we should bless the offering before we sing this, because it's...
Okay, has the offering been completely taken? So let's bless it and then let's sing. Divine love, we say, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. So it is. Thank you.
Do you feel like standing?
Yes, let's stand.
So let us see the beauty everywhere. Here's the first part. Let us see the beauty every day. And source our lives from its presence. Let's do that again. Let us see the beauty every day. And source our lives from its presence. Here's the second part. I want to know if you can see the beauty, even when it's not pretty every day. I want to know if you can see the beauty and source your life from its presence. Do that again. I want to know if you can see the beauty, even when it's not pretty every day. I want to know if you can see. Here's the tricky rhythm. And source your life from its presence. Beginning. Let us see the beauty every day. And source our lives from its presence. Again. Let us see the beauty every day. And source our lives from its presence. Here's the second part. I want to know if you can see the beauty, even when it's not pretty every day. I want to know if you can see the beauty and source our life from its presence. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna ask you to do. Just sing that first part, which is a little easier, right? And just keep repeating it. And if you feel like you want to try that second part with me when I get to it, feel free, or just stay on the first part. And we'll make some harmony. Are you ready? Let's go. Here we go, beginning. Let us see the beauty every day. Source our lives from its. If you want to just stay on that the whole time, that's fine. Let us see the beauty every day. And source our lives from its. Keep it going. Join me in the other if you want. I want to know every day. See the beauty. Source our lives from its presence. wanted to do one more sing-along. Down to the river to pray. I think you all know it. We've got most of the words on the sheet there.
Somebody could bring the kids back in too, if you want to let the kids know that we're ready to have them come back in, somebody.
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay, so who's doing it?
As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way in Michigan, stormy cloud, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way in Boucher, starry cloud, good Lord, show me the way. Oh brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh brothers, let's go down to the river to pray. Couple more. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way in Boucher, starry cloud, good Lord, show me the way. Oh fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh fathers, let's go down to the river to pray. One more, mothers. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way in Boucher, starry cloud, good Lord, show me the way. Oh mothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh mothers, let's go down to the river to pray.
On your chairs, you also have a sheet that says the reading for November 9th, a friendship blessing. So I made a mistake in not have you bringing those up, standing there with you right now, but know that they're there as a gift for you to take home. And I'm just going to say some of it to us right now. A blessing from John O'Donohue. May you be blessed with good friends. May you be blessed with good friends. May you learn to be a good friend to yourself. May you be able to journey to that place in your soul where there is great love, warmth, feeling, and forgiveness. May this change you. May it transfigure that which is negative, distant, or cold in you. May you be brought into the real passion and kinship and affinity of belonging. May you treasure your friends, all of them, but especially these ones here at Unity. May you be good to them, and may you be there for them. May they bring you all the blessings, all the challenges, all the truth and the light that you need for your journey. May you, because you're part of this fellowship, may you never be isolated. May you always call out for and be in the gentle nest of belonging with all of your anamkaras. Blessings. Join us for our refreshments and have a wonderful week, and I'll see you on Saturday and Sunday. Oh yeah, let me correct that, okay? Everybody just stay still for just a minute because I'm a week ahead of myself, and the reason for that is because I know that I'm speaking then, but I'm so excited to tell you that Zan Nix is going to be here with us as the singer and presenter next week. So November 16th is very exciting. I'm really looking forward to being with Zan. I'll be here too and hearing what she brings to us. So come and celebrate the 16th, and then we look forward to that week. So sorry for the mix-up, but that's what's happening. 22nd. She's next week is on the 22nd. Yeah, you're Philly. All right.